people will talk about donating blood. They'll talk about other things, but they will not talk about being a sperm donor.
Yeah.
So, Nick, nice having you at the studio, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
So,
it.
you're welcome. So, when we were talking, we talk about your experiences. But before we go on, I'd like for you to tell the audience about a bit about yourself. But first, let me go and I'm going to read your profile, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So everyone, this is Nick James,
Yes, sir.
right? And he's doing, as you heard what I said, he's doing something that most people don't talk about. It's kind of interesting. It sparked my interest, and I wanted to bring it to everyone so they could actually have something to listen to, or if they're curious about it, then they could find more information about it. So I decided, hey, I'm going to bring a person that is actually doing this. And so let's get into it. So your name is Nick James,
Yes,
Nicholas
sir.
James, right?
Yes, sir.
Nick for short.
Yes, sir.
You're a hospitality professional by trade.
Yes. Yeah. I've been in hotels since I was about 18, 19. I just love people. As you can see, when we
Right.
first met,
Right.
just easy to talk, easy
Right.
to bring a conversation. I'm big on culture and just good vibes, good energy.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I heard your accent, I was like, oh, great, perfect. I'm gonna love this guy. So I think in hospitality that's important too. Meeting different people, using the cues that they offer
Right.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I love people. So I've been in hotels for a long time. Right now I'm getting more into the ownership side. So I'm
Mhm.
pretty excited about that. And this is definitely something that I enjoy doing on the side. I do want to say thank you for bringing me on your platform. I
Definitely.
think it's really important. Not only as a sperm donor, but as a black sperm donor. I think there's
Mhm.
not enough of us, and not enough, you know, people in our community know that this is something that you can do,
Mhm.
especially for somebody in my case where I don't have kids of my own. So I think it's, I'm doing a good deed and helping people and
Mhm.
other things along the way. So just want to say thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But yes, as you mentioned, I grew up in Syracuse, New York. Family didn't have much. We grew up very poor. Grew up with a single Italian mother, but she was just a bundle of joy. I miss her every day. But growing up in Syracuse, growing up in poverty, I wanted to do better, to work harder. So I always, I remember I would always look for ways to make more money. I was a club promoter in school. In high school, I would throw parties. I would sell candy out of my locker, chips, anything I can do to, make that extra money to.
Slow down. I don't want to
To help out.
jump that far first because I do want to have the conversation
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
of course,
So
of course.
in terms of how you got into it, but you're given the information for leading up to it,
Yeah,
but I don't
got
want to
you.
get into the information so fast.
Yeah.
In terms of what I read, you said that you did have a sibling, right? And you and your sibling were together for a while. So when I read that, it didn't state that your father was involved. So did something happen? Did he pass away? Did he left the family? What happened before your mom met someone else? And
Yeah, so my parents met in New York City, 1989, 1990, before I was born, and they were never married. They were always, it was kind of a thing. My mother, true story. I was actually telling my friend earlier. My mother was actually married to a different man when she met my father. So I think that's always interesting. She was married to a different man, wasn't happy, met my father, and
pause for a second. Did she break up with her husband?
No.
She was kind of an affair.
yes. And my father had multiple kids by multiple different women at that point. He didn't really want a relationship. And my mom, I think, was still trying to figure out what she wanted. So then she left New York City and moved back to Syracuse, where she was born and raised and from. She had her first kid at 32, me. So I think that she just wanted a good support system. So she went back to New York and just kind of co-parented, from there with my father. I still have a relationship with him now.
Till this day?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, mother's passed, but father's still working Long Island, New York. Yes, sir.
You have a good relationship with him?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
What about your brother, your biological
Yeah, that's
brother?
my best friend. Me and him talk every other day, every day. He has my 2 nephews, and they live in the Bronx.
Okay. So, you years later, your mom met someone else and had 3 more.
Yeah, about 2001. Yeah,
3 more.
2 more
brothers.
2 more. Yes, sir.
2 more.
2
So
more.
it's
Yeah.
4 of you.
Yes, 4 total.
4.
Yes.
So, man, she's a lucky woman. She only
4
had
boys. Yeah, she kept trying to get a girl after me, and we would have been rich if she would have stopped with me. So.
Well, you said you guys would have been rich.
Well, it's so expensive, man.
Oh yeah, I know.
So expensive.
Yeah.
Every kid she kept having, it just got more and more expensive.
More and more expensive.
Yeah, but she was amazing. She was the best mother I could ever hope for. She got us everything we wanted.
Is that what
Worked
pushed
hard.
her into smoking? Because here it says that she passed away from COPD.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say it's that. I think that back in that 1990s, 80s, when she was in school, I think that was just the thing.
Yeah.
I think back then smoking was the thing. I think they promoted it in a way that made it, similar to vaping now.
Right.
How it's seen at least at first it was seen in a good element. Now,
Of course.
you're kind of getting more scientific stuff on it. So I just think back then it was one of those things that she just didn't know how to get out of, and
Did you take up the same mantle and start smoking as well, or you just?
No, sir. No, I've actually never smoked anything in my life. Never done any drugs. I've tried drinking. I don't like it. I don't drink. So currently, yeah, I don't drink or smoke, do any drugs or anything like that. Just never been my thing. My father's like that. My father's never drank, never smoked, and I think the summers has like a 13, 14-year-old going to New York City and seeing my dad not do that stuff. It kind of made me wonder, like, okay, I think I like this better.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I've drank beers, but I don't indulge in liquor like that. So I understand. And my grandfather, he also died of COPD.
Yeah, it's
right.
tough.
So I understand. So, with your other 3 siblings, besides your brothers, I keep saying 3, but but your brother.
I call them my
2,
siblings.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. They're
Yeah.
your half brothers,
Yeah.
right? They're still your siblings. It doesn't matter. They're still your siblings.
Yeah, I don't do that whole half full.
Right.
They're my
It's
brothers.
nonsense.
We all grew up together, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So, why, being that you're in hospitality, right? Why did you decide to? You told me in the conversation you told me you left your job and you just kind of being like moving around and helping families and stuff like that. So, how long were you in hospitality for?
I'm still in it. I've been in it since 19, so 12, 13 years.
12, 13 years.
Yeah.
So, was that kind of a good foyer or prerequisite into now doing what you're doing for this temporary period?
Yeah, so in right before COVID in 2021, something that we probably didn't talk about, I is when I kind of tested the waters with this. Is when if you remember from my bio, in 2021 I saw randomly a New York Times article about sperm donation, and I was like, what's this? So I looked at the article in 2021, read it, and really it talked about how Facebook groups are a huge thing with sperm donation, and how there's such a non-existent, very limited Black sperm donors in the world, period. And it just got me thinking, like, what is this? Here I am at the time I was 30, no kids, and I know one thing my mom always wanted was for me to have kids, and I don't. It might happen, it might not, but I wanted to at least look into it, and I looked into it. And if you look at these, Facebook groups and these, back in 2021, I was just looking through these groups and reading information on it, and it's a totally different world, and it really made me want to do it. And I think Yes, to answer your question, my background in hospitality made it very easy to be able to talk to families and be genuine.
Hmm.
Um, and just be authentic with everything that I'm doing, and I think that's why it's so busy right now like it is.
Okay, so we kind of like just had a brief discussion about it, and you were telling me that you've done it for a few people already. So what you're saying right now, your mom always wanted you to have children, right? But you never really have any children of your own. Would you say
Not knocking on wood, not yet.
well, this is what I'm leading up to right now. Um, this is what I'm leading up to right now. Would you say that you, being a sperm donor, that you already have children? Because I believe you said you had several already. How many? How many?
Yeah, so 9, 5 boys, 4 girls.
5 boys, 4 girls.
Yep.
So technically, you already have children, right? And we were having a touch of a conversation when I was when we started having the conversation about what led you into becoming a sperm donor. And I was telling you briefly that a proposition was made to me several years back, multiple years back, more than several years back, where someone, she was in her 30s and she was 35 by this time, and she was like, she's in desperation to have a child, and she made a proposition to me, contract and everything, for me to sign, where she'll be responsible for the kid and the whole nine, and all she wanted me to do is to be intimate with her, and so she get pregnant and the baby would be hers. And I told her I think about it, and I thought about it, and I was like, if I'm going to do that, I want to be in the child's life. And she was like, no, it would be my child. You have nothing to do with it. Once you sign the contract, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, I can't do that. So I turned on that. Now, the fact that you don't have a child within a relationship, let's say your wife, and you said 9 right now, right? And I think you recently
Mm-hmm.
it's on your 10th one right now.
No, but I recently donated to another family.
A
Yeah.
recent, so that possibly, if that turned out to be successful, it would be 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you will have 10 offspring in the world,
And counting.
and counting. So how would you, or should I say, what did you put in place? Because from reading your bio, what did you put in place with them? Obviously, I would assume that you signed a contract with them. Beside the contract, I would like for you to explain that a bit. What else have you put in place? Should they one day decide that if they want to come at you for child support, or that the child may want to meet you, how are you going to reconcile that, and what have you put in place for the future of any hiccups to take place that could hinder you when you decide to actually meet someone and get married and have a family, or
For sure. Yeah, no, that's a great question, and that's actually a question that a lot of families ask, because there's definitely been stories vice versa where donors, come back to the families. I want to be a part of Josiah's life. I'm Josiah's real dad. I want to be involved in Josiah's dad. So it's something that scares families just as it scares donors as well. The unfortunate part of your question is that because I am doing it at home via the artificial insemination, which artificial insemination, for those who don't know, is where I am inseminating into a cup. And then from the cup, it gets transferred into a syringe, a long syringe, probably about this long.
kind of what they used to base chickens and turkeys and
Correct,
stuff like
correct.
that, right?
And then from there, the syringe is inserted into the cervix, into the woman, where, then she'll relax, for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and, wait for the
When you say relax, you mean just
Well,
lay there?
just lay there. A lot of women like to put their legs up so that the sperm can hopefully travel
I
through.
was gonna ask that. Do they
Yeah.
lay kind of
Yeah,
like in
I'm
a?
never in the room. I'm never in the room
Uh,
at that point. I'm already gone. But usually by that point, so
okay, okay.
um,
And how many times is it? Is it one shot done and go, or you've done it? You do it multiple times for one family, so they have how should I say, multiple specimens,
mhm.
all right, where they can inject like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4.
Yeah, I negotiate with every family. And depending on some families, I actually ship it to them.
Mm,
They have it's called it's a package that you can order
mm-hmm.
specifically for sperm donation via shipping. So I can order that package and that would get them one. They would get only one sample with that. It's expensive to ship. You have to pay for the shipping
Right.
costs, the kit costs, my costs. So, but then there's also a lot of families pay me to travel to them, and then with that I work with them. Usually we'll do one or two a day,
Mm-hmm.
over the course of 2 days,
Over the
and
course of.
that gives them multiple, like you said, about three to anywhere from 2 to 4 chances,
All right.
of that.
Of
So,
having a successful pregnancy.
yes, sir.
Okay, so what if?
But to
Mhm.
go back and answer your question, what do I have? What are my safeguards?
Mhm.
Honestly, because it's at home, there are none for me. The best that I can do is that I have contracts, but will a contract that we all sign and get notarized be? There's very few cases to know if it will hold up in court,
Right.
to know if a contract that we get a lawyer to make or we sign. So now 3 years later, I stopped donating from 2022 to 2024. I just started back in October. So from October to now, what I'm telling all the families that have worked with me, which is probably you know 12 plus that I've worked with just in the last 2 months,
Mhm.
is if you get a positive, which takes that 3 to 5 weeks, after insemination.
Right.
If you get a positive, I highly recommend that you contact a family attorney in your state. I'm helping families in Georgia, Oregon, in Texas, California, Florida,
Mhm.
New York, all over. So every state has different laws. So I'm recommending to families to contact a family attorney to protect their own interest,
Mhm.
and it would also protect my interests, with what their family attorney suggests that they do to fully adopt the child, because in a lot of cases it's not as easy for the couple to get the child.
Hold a second. Let me walk that back.
Yeah.
Walk you back in that again. My curiosity is, you do the artificial insemination. You essentially ejaculate in a cup, right? And once they get pregnant, once the woman gets pregnant, it's her child. Why is it now that she have to contact an attorney for adopting the child?
Well, the contacting attorney could be for multiple things. I suggest that they contact the attorney to protect themselves from, we did an at-home insemination.
Mhm.
What do we have a known donor.
Right.
I'm what you would call a known
Known
donor, that they
donor,
know
right.
who I am, I know who they are. We have a known donor. How can we protect ourselves so that Nicholas James isn't coming after us in 5 years when Joseph is 5, trying to say that he is the legal father?
When he says James, or he calls a different name, he's not specifically mentioning any name of any children that he have out there, any donor child that he has. So he's just using that as a reference, right? So I just wanted to clear that up. All right, let's continue.
Yeah. So and then on top of that, it's uh, you know, some couples are married, some are not married. Especially if they're not married, what do we need to do to get both of them to be legal guardianship over the child? It's a complicated process that there's not a lot of to-dos, on that. So
Nick, I know we were just having a conversation and we were just kind of like throwing out information out there randomly, right? But I would like for you to walk me through the whole process of how it works, right? When I say how it works, I mean, how do they contact you? Uh, what do you have for them, for the ease of them to be able to contact you? And how does that process work? Because I would assume that there are other people out there that would like to learn about this and would like to spread their seed, right?
Yeah.
So let's walk me through the whole process. Let's get some people really interested in.
Yeah, so I mean, if anybody goes on Facebook, you could find numerous sperm donation groups. Recently, about a month ago, I created Black Sperm Donors group. It's right on Facebook, easy to find, just Black Sperm Donors group. And in that group, we specifically, my goal for the group and my goal for donating is to, assist families of color that are looking to conceive. And in using my hospitality background, I want to make it the most efficient, easiest, and safest way possible. When you browse other groups, there's just disorganization. There's a lot of scammers, like with anything. There's a lot of people that aren't doing it for the right reasons. So I definitely wanted to come in and do it for the right reason. So I created the Black Sperm Donors group. I've also created a website, and on my website, families will find a bio of me with all my information, my background, how my mother was Italian, my father's Black, information about what do I like to do? I mean,
Let me ask this question. You mentioned the Facebook account that you have, the Black Sperm Donors
group, yes, sir.
group. How many members do you have in that group?
Yeah, so currently we have 207, but that's only in a month, a month and a half, I want to say. Every day it's starting to grow, and I'm hoping we can hit 500 members by the end of January.
What's your long-term goal for that group? Do you plan to monetize it in some way, or you just want to grow it so you can just disseminate information?
Yeah, at this time it's just me helping, providing a safe space for families to be able to come to. If it grows to something else, I'll look at that, think about that later. But right now, I just want a safe space where everybody that comes into the group is vetted currently. I asked 2 questions for them to get into the group, and any donors that want to get into the group have to send me a personalized video where I ask them questions about why are you donating, or how many people have you donated to before? Are you new doing it? I ask different questions to each person to make it unique, so that scammers don't come into the group, and families that are in my group can feel comfortable knowing that that Nick takes it seriously, because I do. It's a huge deal, and it's a huge responsibility I feel that I want to take on to help families.
Okay. I remember when we were just throwing information out there, I'd asked how many families you've helped. And in this group, this Facebook sperm donor group, was that how you met these families?
9 successes, yeah.
And,
so the successes...
And 12 in total, right? 9 successes, 12 in total?
So, yes and no. So 9 successes, but I've probably helped 40, 50 families. But when I say helped...
You've been a busy man.
But when I say helped, not every family, unfortunately, is a success. Just as anybody knows, if you do it the natural way, not every time you have natural, it's going to happen. I've helped a lot of families. Like I previously said, I did this a lot in 2021, took 4 years off, came back in October, started doing it. Since October, I've probably helped 12 to 15 families from October to now. And I'm already getting bookings for families contacting me and booking me for January. December was my busiest month since I started back. I've pretty much been booked every day this month in Memphis, Atlanta. I'm in Miami right now. I'm going to be going back to Atlanta on the 2nd to help another family out there. So December was definitely the busiest month that I've had thus far since I've been donating back.
So
And this is thanks to the groups. There's numerous groups out there that are meant to help families, but they have no structure about them. They're just kind of all over the place.
so there's no cohesion with
No,
how
the-
they do business.
No, and these families don't know where to look, and have a safe space where they can trust, essentially sending a stranger money,
Mhm.
sending a stranger information about them, like their address and stuff. And I just try to create that safe space for families.
So I understand that the website and the Facebook group helps to mitigate any anxieties that these family may have because of how professional you present this.
Yeah, along with the FaceTimes, the Facebook Messenger videos that I do of them. If I'm not busy and a family starts talking to me and I can tell that they're interested, I try to send them like a quick video with their name, like, "Hey, Jessica, my name is Nick. Nice to meet you. I'd be happy to help you, on your journey to creating a family, and talk soon." That just right there solidifies. Oh, okay, he's real. He's real.
I know when we were having a conversation and I asked you about the sperm donor, what are they called? The ones that have the clinics, the sperm donor clinics,
The fertility.
the fertility clinics.
Yes.
You say they charge upwards of 1,000,
Yeah,
sometimes more.
For everything. It could be 1,200 to 1,800. I saw a TikTok the other day that I actually posted in my group. It took a family 5 times. It was about $1,300 each time with shipping, and it took her 5 times. She got pregnant, but it took, almost $7,000. Whereas families work with me, at most they'd probably pay two. If it took 5 times, like 5 separate times of me coming to visit them. It's
Pause for a second. I need to make sure I clarify
Yeah.
the information that you're just
Of
giving
course,
me right
of
now.
course.
When you say two, are you saying 200 or are you saying
2,000,
2,000?
2,000.
Okay.
compared to 7,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
If I left where I'm living, drive to visit a family, say in Miami, and depending on what we negotiate and they pay, it would take a long time to get to that $7,000 number that family paid for their success.
So with using that as a reference, as an example, the $7,000 family that you just talked about. So what if they paid the 2,000, let's say 2,500, and they had no success, and they want to try again for like a third time, right? Do you give some kind of financial concession to them, like maybe give them a break or something, or you keep it at the rate that you would?
I don't. So recently, I did come up with a new package that I offer to families. It's $1,500 one time, and then I work with them until
They get
until they get pregnant, and then included with that is an STD panel every month and a genetics test, a full genetics test, but it's expensive, not a lot of
Right.
families have the $1,500. I'll work with families as long as they want. What I suggest to families is if it doesn't work after the second or third time, if they haven't gone to a fertility clinic, to make sure that a woman's body is very precious and complicated.
True.
So it's very important to make sure that both sides, really, that the woman, but also myself, that I'm in healthy order, that I'm taking care of my body, that I'm doing everything that I need to on my side to give optimal performance to the ejaculation process, to the insemination process. And I definitely try to do that with me. I take pills myself, conception pills that are supposed to provide optimal count.
Put a break. Put a pause on that for a second, because I'm curious about this. What is it called?
Conception pills.
Conception pills.
Yeah, for optimal male performance with sperm count.
So that's supposed to boost the sperm count.
It's supposed to make sure that you have everything that you should be having. Yeah.
All right, guys out there that have a sperm count issue, this man is just telling us how we can boost our sperm count. So people that there are people that put their cell phones right on their privates, right? And I always ask, do you want children? And they say, yeah. Say, take your phone off your, I would say, cock, right?
Yeah.
Take your phone off your cock because you're killing your sperm count, right? So for those out there that likes to put the cell phone on their front, in their seat, in their lap, remove the cell phones. They know who I'm talking about, and take these conception pills. I have to remember that. So
it's just me going the extra mile. I don't need them. It's just, I'm a healthy 33-year-old man. It's just me going the extra mile for the families, because as a sperm donor, you're only as successful as your recent successes.
That's true.
If I'm donating to all these families, 12, 15, 20, 30, 40, nobody's getting pregnant. Well, I don't think out of 40 families, not one of them, you would look at, okay, where's the issue? Is it the 40 families or is it Nick? Probability, it would be the sperm donor.
Yeah.
It would be the sperm donor. So, I really strive to take care of my body, work out and, do the best that I can. And I'm eating better, and I do all that as a method to help my count, because at the end of the day, the count matters, but all you need is one to get through.
That's true. When you say eating better, are there certain kind of foods that you don't eat, or as opposed to certain kind of foods that you
eat
do
everything.
eat?
But I eat a lot of salads, but no, I eat everything.
Okay, so there's no particular...
No diet I'm on. No.
Okay, no. All right, so you're more like gonna try it. You see it, you try it.
Yes.
What I'm curious about is the fact of how methodical you've been in the process of doing it, because you said you took a break from 2002 to 2024, early 2024, and then you started again just recently, right?
2022 to 2024.
Right, and you took a break for that time, and now you started again,
Yeah.
right? Now, the fact that you have a website and you have a Facebook group, and you talked about the optimal pills, right? I'm just gonna shoot because that's what he does, right? I'm just gonna say the optimal pills. I'm thinking in my brain, like, I'm thinking this for you, that this is more kind of a business. I see a trajectory going for business because you're kind of like laying out the process. You are laying out the process of professionalism in becoming an AI
sperm donor.
A sperm donor.
Yeah, it's
right.
something in the industry, in our industry, that it's not there. A lot of guys in the sperm donation Facebook world are usually a couple of things. They're a scammer, like true scammers.
Really?
They're just trying to get money out of these families. $30, $50, $100. It doesn't matter. It's the same people that will call you and try to get you to. You have a virus. You need to pay us this money. It's the same. There are one of the reasons why I started donating that I didn't talk about at the beginning was there were no black sperm donors, but also all of the sperm donors that they had wanted to do what we call NI or PI, and those are natural or
insemination.
Or partial insemination.
So okay,
and essentially partial is natural. I don't really understand the partial.
I could understand what partial mean, but
no, it's natural.
It's
to me, it's natural. It's essentially you ejaculating, or you getting ready to ejaculate, and then running into the woman and ejaculating into her. That's what they would consider partial.
So wait. They would
get ready. Yes.
Essentially jerk themselves off.
Correct. Jerk
off. And then as soon as
they're ready,
just inseminate it in the woman.
They would inseminate directly into the woman.
That's natural.
That's natural.
Right?
But they call it partial.
No. Because if they had...
So if a family was to look online, they would see guys that only do NI or PI, natural or partial. And essentially, they're going to do that for free to these families. They'll say, ma'am, I will do NI with you for free. You can have my genetics for free, but I will only do NI, only. And it puts these families in a bind. People have to think about families that want to have a kid so bad. There's so many women out there, that same-sex couples that want to have a child. And their options are unknown donors, through these sperm banks that charge $1,500, $2,000 for one sample. One sample is how much that $1,500 costs. Or they go on these Facebook groups and there's these, I mean, excuse my French, but ugly guys that enjoy having sex with these women in return to giving them a potential child. And that is just something that I just don't agree with. And that's one of the reasons why I started doing it and why I said I'm going to be better than everybody else doing it. Because one, I have that business mindset already, kind of what you said earlier. I just have to have that mindset. So let me look at what the platform is giving. What are they doing? And how can I be better than everybody else? And, you know, just trying to lay down that foundation, having the Facebook group, having the website that if you scroll all the way to the bottom, I have a FAQ that answers every question that you as a family would want to know about me. Every single question.
Cam, go down to the bottom of the website and open the FAQ and
So
browse
you have
around.
my about me.
Go back down a little bit. So no, that's you right there when you were.
Yes, I was 3. Well, 2. If you see, I'm 2. Yes, that's 2-year-old.
So they're gonna have a handsome kid. You know,
that's the goal.
Or a pretty girl.
Yes.
Depends because of course it's going to use the woman's genetics. So based on how she looks, it's going to.
We're 5'4" right now, so we're in the lead. The guys, 5 boys, 4 girls.
No, I'm talking about how the woman looks because her genetics is going to mix with yours. But the child is going to be attractive at some if she's not you know.
Yes.
Fugly, as I would say, if you know what fugly means.
Yes.
But you don't really care. Doesn't matter how the woman looks as long as they're on business and you're.
My goal is to just help the family.
All right. So scroll down a bit.
Yep. And then right there we have STD results that I update every 2 months, every 60 days.
And you use Quest. Okay. All right. And
yep. So those are my packages and also family photos. The middle is my brother that I'm closest with that we referenced at the beginning of the show. And then the 2 corners or the 2 other photos are 2 baby photos. And then those are the packages that we have. We got the shipping, Nick travel package.
Go up a little bit.
Local family visit.
All right. Shipping, Nick travel package.
Yeah, and shipping is convenient for families that, you know, I've shipped to Oregon. You know, it's hard for me it's expensive for me to get to Oregon, or it's expensive for a family to come to me. You know, travel schedules, shipping, it's one price. You know, and it has successes as well. It can have successes as well. I always recommend in person. Fresh is always the best.
Continue scrolling. What families are saying.
Yep. So these are 2 reviews that are in the Facebook group directly, posted by families that have used my services before. This is, you know, next you'll find information about shipping, how it works. Once again, I try to make the process as easy as possible. Give them the link to the kit that I purchased for them, and I, you know, just everything from A to B. I just like to.
Let me ask a question.
Laid out.
When you do your test results, like you say, you do it every 2 months.
Yes, sir.
And you provide it every 2 months. When you do your test results, how do you provide it to them? Do they have a way to get it directly from the results provider, like Quest, or do you send it to them?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question because there's some issues with some other donors with that. For me, I supply it myself to them. If they have questions about it or want to see it directly from Quest, I would FaceTime them, share my screen, and go directly on the Quest website where they can see me click on everything and then see the results themselves with the dates as well.
Yeah, because the reason I ask, obviously, you know the reason I ask.
Yes,
because
it happens a lot.
Yeah.
It happens a lot, especially with NI. With people that are doing this in person, that are naturally trying to conceive with the women. And women have called them out on falsifying the records.
I think there's more of a nefarious intentions with people that want to do AI or PI, because that doesn't make sense to me if they are not providing their test results to make sure that they're clean.
Yep.
Because we know that you can get an STD and it takes several weeks to show up, and in that process of time, they're going to pass on their STD to that woman. I think that's the most ridiculous. Any woman out there, listen to this. I'm going to say this as a man. If you meet a man and you want to have a child, and the man say he only do natural insemination or partial insemination, don't do it. If he's not willing to provide results showing you pronto when you ask, and it has to be very current, and you have to ask the question, when last have you had sex with someone else? When last you had intimacy with someone else? Because it only take one moment for them to be intimate with some random female, and in this world that we're living in, we never know, it could be male or female, and then now they contract some kind of disease and pass it on to you. Don't do natural and don't do partial insemination. Do AI, artificial insemination. It's kind of crazy that we're living in a world that where everybody's talking about AI, and we're talking about AI insemination, right? Like a robot doing the job
in a different way.
in a different way. So that's my public service announcement for that. All right, let's continue. So we're talking about commonly asked questions. So what is your ethnicity? What is your height and weight? What's your height and weight, by the way?
5'9", 170.
Okay. We're living in a world where most women want a man 6 foot or 6 foot plus. Have you gotten any questions from any of the families that about your height? I'm just curious.
No, that only happens in my personal life, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. Six figures.
Everybody wants Victor Wembanyama. So
a very tall man with lots of money. How tall are your parents? What's your athletic? And do you smoke? What's your education level? Did you get vaccinated? I say vaccinated. I'm not going to say vaccine, but did you were you vaccinated?
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you this question. How do you feel about this whole vaccination? And what if you meet a family that like everything about what you're saying, but the fact that you were vaccinated? I like to say negative advocate. Some people say devil's advocate. I say negative advocate because it's going to work against, right? What if they said, I like everything about you, however, the fact that you're vaccinated turns me off because I didn't want to get vaccinated. I think it was a farce. I think it was a scam, and you're vaccinated. How would you try to convince them that it's fine, or would you just leave it alone? What would you do?
I would just leave it alone. There's too many families. I'm too busy already. So if there's a family that doesn't want me to be their donor because of my vaccination status, I will respect that. But I can't change the past. When I got vaccinated, my best friend who is a doctor in New York City, I just asked him, hey, Dre, should I get the vaccine? Yes. Okay, which one? He told me, and I got it.
And have you had any complications?
I have not. No complications. Got the booster, one booster around when they told us to get the boosters, and that's it. I think that people make it a bigger deal than it is. It's just a matter. It's choice, right? People get the flu vaccine. People don't get the flu vaccine.
That's true.
I got the vaccine. Some people don't get the flu vaccine. I have it. It's just one of those things that I am gonna trust in the system, and that's that. So.
Okay.
But I have had families ask me, and I know they're asking for a reason.
Right.
So that's why I put it on the website, because it's just, it's one of those questions that it's just, yes, I have the vaccine. And I had a family say, okay, what vaccine did you get specifically? And it was just like, I don't know. I was like, okay, after that, let me put it on the website, because I just don't want to answer that every day. So.
Okay, so yeah, that was very smart that you put it there. So when they ask, you just say, hey, go to the website, read about it. If they're in the Facebook group, they can just click to the website and just read about it. So, okay, we talked about NI and PI. And are there any genetic issues in your family? and any mental history?
Yeah, those are both very common questions because families, if you're choosing a sperm donor, you want to know are there any issues that we need to be worried about for our potential future child?
Right,
So,
that's very
and
true.
thankfully, my family doesn't have any issues. So.
That's good. That's good. So any mental issues in your family? How do you handle? Of course, you see there are no mental issues in the family, so are there. But how do you handle that when if they're a bit more, uh, they need more information? If
Yeah,
they're
I
being
mean,
adamant about it, how do you handle that? How do you
yeah,
handle that?
I haven't had that happen, but just thinking about it, I mean, I think we would just talk about it. There's no way to really prove, right,
Hmm.
that if your family has a mental issue or not. I mean, I think the only way is if you Googled somebody's family and tried to find if there was a news article because they did something crazy. But I, I mean, most families, I think, are once again these women want to have kids really bad, so they're trusting in the donor that if he says, you know
Hmm.
no mental health issues that they're trusting in it. I think the STD is one that they won't always trust the voice. They want to see paper. They want to see results. Unfortunately, there's no paper that you can really give proving that
That's true.
your
You
family
just have to trust.
that your family is
Right.
mentally stable.
There's a question I'm going to ask, but I'm going to ask after this. What is something you dislike? That's kind of like a generic question.
Yeah.
Uh, are you okay with signing your rights away? Yes, we kind of touched on that.
Yep. And I just talk about families contacting the family attorney, but I have no problem signing it. Any paperwork that these families want me to signing, whatever makes them more comfortable in the process. I definitely am more than willing to do that and recommend it if they want me to.
Okay. And next one, do you have any paperwork we should sign?
Kind of the same thing that we discussed. Contact the family attorney. I don't have any paperwork exclusively because I just think that, you know, Googling sperm donor paperwork, which you'll find paperwork, it won't hold up in court. Go see a lawyer. See what the lawyer in your state recommends you to do, so that you can have a sense of security. I'd have a lot more security if I went to a lawyer compared to getting a document from, rocketlawyer.com. So.
Okay, so the next one says, how many families will you help? Do you have a specific number that you may one day say, I won't do it anymore? How will that work?
Yeah, so I mean, right now we're at 9, and if you were to go to a sperm bank, they would cap it at 2025. If you did it through a sperm bank, so I think once I get close to that number, it's definitely something that I would think about. But also at the same time, that's 9 over 3 years. Even with me not donating for 2 of those years, but I think that let's say I met somebody in the coming year, I would ask her, what's her opinion about it, and if she told me to stop whatever number I'm at right then and there, I would just stop donating. I think what number I get to depends on if I do meet somebody, how she feels about it, and things like that. But if I am by myself for the rest of my life, I'd probably cap it between 20 and 25.
Is there a reason why the sperm banks cap it at 25?
Overpopulation of a single
The single sperm
a single donor. Yeah. Yeah, and those are, and I don't know if that's 20 to 25 in an exclusive area. Like if you go to Sperm Bank of Los Angeles, it's 2025. But if you go to Sperm Bank Justice of New York, Cryo Bank of New York, is that because that's a different area, different sperm bank? Is it now fresh zero? I don't know that. I inquired one time at a sperm bank in New York about donating to them, and they definitely were interested in black donors. They need them, but they only pay a flat fee of $70 per donation. You can only donate up to 8 times a month, I think. But $70 and then they go around and charge it $1,200. I'm not gonna associate myself with that business.
That sounds like a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the men out there that have like hundreds of children?
Yeah,
You've
I think
heard
there
of
was a Netflix. Somebody told me recently about a Netflix.
I think it was like 1,000 or some thousand children, 3,000 some thousand children.
Yeah. That's. I mean, it's a lot. That I can't fathom getting to that number, getting close to that number. But you also have to think about that's a, let's just say 500. That's 500 families or 500, you know, whatever the number is, but that's a lot of lives that he's changed because he was able to help them. I think it's a great thing. I think that I would never get to that number.
You know,
It's a lot more work than I think.
that you mean
I
that
could
you
even
thought
I could
when you
even
started.
I could even tell you in this podcast, to meet up with these families that I've only known for some a month, some a couple of weeks, some a day. Go, we do a different processes for different people, but normal processes. I'm meeting them. I'm in my hotel room. I'm laying down on my bed and I'm doing my thing, and then leaving the room and giving them the room to do what they need to do. But in the back of your head, you know that you have to hurry up because they're waiting for you. So it's sometimes it can be. I mean, I have a life too. So picture this. I'm with my girlfriend the morning of. Girlfriend wakes me up. Girlfriend wants to make love to me at 6 a.m. before she goes to work. I make love to my girlfriend at 6 a.m. At 9 a.m., I have to go to help a family. So the men's reproductive system, depending on your age, you should be good to go back in like 30 minutes, right? It just depends. But knowing that you have to go, knowing that this family just flew out here from Oklahoma to get your sperm, and you have to give it to them or you're going to crush their heart. It's not as easy as I think people think. And sometimes it can take me 10 minutes and sometimes it could take me close to an hour. And it's sometimes I feel bad because I don't know if it's going to happen that day.
What made you decide that this was something that you were going to do?
After looking in the Facebook groups back then, a couple years ago, seeing the pool of men, how they were posting and advertising their services, what they look like, I knew I could come in and dominate the space. I mean,
you were that confident.
Yeah, whenever you do something, you have to be confident, and I just knew that how organized I am as a person, how professional I am. I knew that it would be that I could do it. I didn't know if I would be able to, but as soon as I posted and the messages started coming in, that's when I knew that I was onto something.
When you say soon as you posted, did it happen the day off or 2-3 days later?
2 hours after I posted. Yeah.
Wow.
20 messages, families asking. I had families paying me 6 months in advance in 2021. I was so busy that year. But I stopped in 2021. It was the middle of COVID. And my career was on a trajectory that I didn't even fathom it getting to that point.
When you say your career, you're talking about the hospitality?
The hotel management, yeah. It was getting to a point of I had limited time, so I had to stop. I had to choose one or the other, and obviously, I'm going to choose the career. This is more of currently something that I'm doing / hobby right now, with families, but my career came first, and I chose the career and took the time off, and now I have more flexibility in my schedule to allow me to help families again, because it is something that I do enjoy doing. I enjoy meeting these families. I enjoy hearing their stories, but I also enjoy really making sure that they're not getting scammed and they're not using genetics that they don't want just because they're free or just because they're
in a rush.
They're the only ones out there. I want to at least give families another option to be able to use, and yeah, that's what I've been doing.
When we had our chat prior to talking today, you said that the hospitality management job that you had you traveling all over, and you kind of just got fed up of it and decided that you were going to leave that and move on to greener pastures. How long were you doing the hospitality for, the traveling, and was that what pushed you over into becoming more of a full-time sperm donor as it exists right now, as you are in your current situation right now? And
N-
are you planning on going back into the hospitality?
Yeah,
Uh,
like I was saying earlier, I mean, I'm definitely still in it. I'm involved in a specific property in Minnesota currently,
mhm,
um, where we're redeveloping the hotel, doing a PIP, which is a full renovation of it. So I'm definitely still involved. Um, I just, the thing with traveling like I was, with my previous company, my previous role, it was just I was always working. I was always working. When you travel to these hotels, they know that you're at the hotel. The
mm,
entire staff knows you're at the hotel. Getting calls, texts. I never had time off. I was in random places, Portland, Maine, Memphis, Tennessee, just places that I normally wouldn't be in.
mhm,
And I, enjoy the Miamis, the Atlantas of the world. And at the same time, it was really just, um, I think the more and more I saw, people, what COVID showed us in the hospitality industry
mhm,
is our industry as a whole, housekeepers, front desk, management, staff, we are one of the most, not in the industry as a whole, McDonald's, Jobs, Chick-fil-A, but one of the most overworked and underpaid
underpaid.
industries, as a whole, and that's a fact. And I think that, especially the housekeepers of the world, their job is the hardest in the entire hotel, and I don't think people realize that. And a lot of them, take the bus to work. They get rides. They're on contract labor, and contract labor is they're working through a third party company that's getting a cut of their hourly wage. So they're really working for barely minimum wage, and it's not it's a lot on the hotel industry, and I think as an industry we have a long way to go. I think there's, that's why there's so many. I mean, there was just strikes going on in Boston for hotels. I saw one in LA. It's a tough industry to be a part of. I don't do it for the money. I do it for the people.
Mm,
I enjoy changing my team members. The morale in the hotels that I visit. Changing lives, giving out promotions is, what I like to do.
mhm,
I'm not on a philanthropy, like giving out money. I don't do that, but rewarding good work is what I truly enjoy doing. Buying lunches, buying dinners, giving out gift cards, giving out Christmas gifts. Just asking somebody, how's the family, how are the kids, how's your wife, you
mm.
know just I think those little things go a long way, and I think that's why I have had my success in the industry, and why I think I'll continue to. And I think anything that I do will be a reflection of that. Perfect example is how we met, just talking.
Right.
Just knowing how to talk to somebody and understand with them and hear them out, I think is important. And yeah.
In your hospitality, when you're on the hospitality job, does anyone know that you are
No.
a sperm donor? What if they find out? What do you think it would hinder or cause any issues with your
I don't
job?
think it would cause issues. It would be gossip, and I don't do gossip in my hotels.
So what if gossip starts?
You gotta nip it in the butt. Hey, you guys found out I'm a sperm donor? I am. I've been doing it for this amount of time, and I'm gonna continue to do it, and that's that.
Okay. Uh,
You would have to just end it. I mean, it can't continue. I've had staff find me on dating apps,
mhm,
and I'm one of those people that when I'm on the app, I'm just doing this just
mhm.
to. I don't got time.
Swipe.
Yeah, I'm just swiping. And there's been rare occurrences, but definitely occurrences where staff have also probably done the same thing, and then we match, and it's could be awkward.
What if you match? Do you pursue it or?
No, I would never. Would never.
Okay.
I'm very professional. I'm also very private. I'm very private.
Well, the website is not really, that puts you out there, and the Facebook group and the website really puts you out there in the public. So you can't really be private.
Private in the sense of I don't. Nobody that other than immediate family and some friends know that I do this. In the sense of that, and I don't let the two get conjointed.
Does your brothers know
Yeah, he thinks I'm crazy.
all of, you say, what about the other two?
Yeah, so the other two, we didn't really get into it, but we don't talk that much
But
due
you-
to their stepfather. But my brother Jacob, who I'm close with, yeah, he knows. He has my two nephews.
Hmm.
So Jake's in his late 20s, and he knows that I do it. And yeah, he thinks it's I'm crazy. You know, a lot of people, if I ever talk to them, you know, some are, wow, you do that. That's amazing. You know, some say, aren't you worried about the future and having a
Mm-hmm.
thousand kids everywhere? And you know, Jake is just under the mindset of, you know, Nick's gonna do what Nick wants to do, and this is what I'm doing. So,
Mm.
but he's supportive. So
That's my concern. Now, are there any particulars that you're concerned about other than if they want to meet you in the future?
no, I think that it's gonna be, you know, and it's something that I will have to. It's not if when it's going to happen in the future
Because you have the website up, the Facebook
that
up. If you
yeah.
keep it up, they're going to know that hey, I look like this guy. I wonder if this guy is my is
Yeah,
my
I mean,
is my pop.
I think there's gonna come a day where somebody's gonna contact me.
Mm.
You know, whether I wanted them to or not, I think is not even important. You know, and I think that's a conversation that me and my family are gonna have to have, and it's because of what I'm doing right now. But I'm doing right now for a good purpose, and I would hope that my family can understand why I did it back then,
When you
and
say family, you're talking
my
about
future
the
family,
future
future
family.
kids, future wife.
Hmm.
You know,
All right, so let me.
hopefully a beautiful Cuban young lady. You know, but never know.
Yeah, never know. I know of a family, and the guy, he had a child when he was young, like 18, right? 17, 18. And many years later, he got married. And he didn't know that he had a child. The woman that he had a child with kept silent. She didn't say anything. She claimed that she didn't want to interfere with his life because he was on a certain trajectory, certain direction he was going. So they didn't really have a relationship. It was a, you know, hookup, and she got pregnant, and she kept it because she didn't want to ruin his life. His wife, years later now, like maybe like 15 years later, somewhere like that, right? Or somewhere many years later, uh, found out he found out that he had a child, and he told her, and she became livid that he had a child before.
Yeah,
bef-
I mean, I would let my family know what I did, so that
mm,
if it ever popped up, they wouldn't be surprised. They would be probably upset if something, you know, somebody contacts or something. But I would make it known from day one
from day one.
with my significant other. Yeah,
Have you?
because
Go ahead.
I don't like surprises, and I don't want her to be surprised. I don't want to be surprised. I don't want to find out that she had, you know, 4 kids that she
Didn't tell you about.
gave back to a guy in Guatemala, and
Mm.
now the kids are in the States and they wanna see their mother. You know, that would be shocking to me if she didn't tell me.
What if any of these children grow up and come looking for you, and when they find you, they are making demands? Let's say something financially advantageous happened to you, and you became a well-off guy, and any of those children now come and say, okay, you're my biological father. I should have some of your money. I should gain from what you've been doing. Have you thought in that far about how would you handle it? And do you think that anyone that you're with would have of course, I would assume so, but what's your thoughts in terms of that?
Yeah, I
If you
mean, because that could be a possibility, I would just set up my family to make sure that that wouldn't happen. You know, with a proper will, proper documents, that if anything ever happened to me, or just, you know, just mine, you know, and any money that I hopefully would have in the future would go to my obviously immediate family, immediate wife, immediate kids, so that, you know,
so you'll open maybe a trust or something like that, and
a
make them
trust will
beneficiary.
have it fully, you know, enriched, that the only people that, you know,
Can
are,
benefit from it is the people that you put in
yeah.
your will. Uh, in terms of the website and the Facebook, one of the two questions I wanted to ask: when you do the fact that you're doing this right now, and it gets big, and you reach the number where you want to say stop, but you're still helping other families that really want to do it professionally and don't want to go through the sperm bank, and they say, okay, we're going to go to Nick and let Nick help us. Nick is no longer doing it anymore, but he has a certain amount of men in the group that have certain criteria that these women are looking for, kind of like your phenotype, and they say, okay, I want that kind of man, and it grows exponentially, and a company comes to say, hey, I want to buy your website, I want to buy your Facebook group because you have X amount, and we think that you're doing it the right way. We've seen other people do it, like the one you say have 23,000, but we don't like the way they're doing it. You probably have 5-10,000. We want to buy yours. Would you sell?
I mean, I think it would depend where I am in my life. I mean, it's looking a long way ahead, but I think right now, the goal would have to remain, and the goal would have to be to just ensure that all these families are getting helped. If my career and my personal life continue to proceed on the trajectory that they are, at some point I'm not going to have time to, control any of the extra activities that I'm doing.
So then, would you shut the website down and shut the Facebook group down, or would you keep it going?
I'd hopefully meet somebody along the way that is interested in it as I was, and could kind of take over, and continue the goal, right? Because it's just like with any big business, somebody starts it, but the CEO, the owner of Amazon doesn't run Amazon anymore. Jeff
That's
Bezos,
true.
he doesn't.
That's true.
He did what he had to do, and he got his money and left. And he's happy with what he did. Bill Gates doesn't run Microsoft anymore.
That's true.
So I think looking at them, there comes a point where you've done what you can do. The founder of Uber doesn't even run Uber, and that's a newer company.
Right.
He did what he had to do. He came up with a brilliant idea, and now he's living life. So I would probably be on that trajectory at some point.
All right. So are there any last notes or information that you may want to add in terms of how you want people to view you?
Yeah, no, just I truly enjoy helping families. I think that there's so many scammers and people not doing it for the right reason, that I think that like I said earlier, I originally set out on a goal to make this the easiest, most professional. Just do it the right way. Do it the way that it should be done at sperm banks, without sperm bank prices. I think that sperm banks do it also for a right reason, but I think 65-70% of people can't afford sperm banks. And if they can, they'd be stretching themselves thin. I want to be able to, if anybody thinks that they're ready for a child, who are we to financially say that they can't do it? So I try to make it as affordable and as simple as possible. I have the website. I have a form that they fill out on my website that ask them just basic information, name, date, that they're going to want to move forward with my services. And I try to do it the right way, and I appreciate all the families that I've already helped and the future families that I'm going to help. And I appreciate you for letting me get on here and talk about it, because it's something that I've kind of been holding in. You were probably the first person outside of immediate family or girlfriend that I've talked to about it in a long time. But it's something that I'm passionate about, because there's so many families that can be helped, and that can be on their journey to having a family. And I just appreciate families that entrust in me to help them on that journey. And I can't wait to do the journey myself one day with my future significant other, and we start this journey. It's babies, and it's an amazing thing. And I look at that right now with my nephews, that they're just I just want to hold them all the time. And I wish my mom was here to see what I'm doing right now, because she'd probably think I'm crazy too.
You look like you're ready to get teared
But
up.
I just appreciate it, man. It's a lot. These families are entrusting in me with their genetics, and with they're going to be attached to me essentially for life. So it's something that I don't take lightly and something that I really appreciate doing. So
How many children do you want to have when you actually have a family? Have you thought of that?
2 to 4.
2 to 4.
2 to 4. I want a girl first. My mom had 4 boys. My brother has 2 boys. My first ever donor baby. First time I ever did this a couple years ago. The first family I ever helped, not knowing what I was doing in Gainesville, Florida, was a positive, and it was a girl. So
There's your wish. What if when you get a family, you never have a girl?
Well, I never have a girl, but
you still have a girl essentially, but it wouldn't be with your immediate family.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I wouldn't have a girl, but
I believe that will work out for you. You have been successful, and you can take those reproductive assistance.
I mean, if there's one thing
pills.
we know that my system works.
That's true.
So,
That's definitely
you know.
true. That's definitely true. Man, there's so much that goes into learning about the how this works, and so essentially you are doing this to circumvent what the sperm banks are doing and what the scammers are doing. So you're like right in that middle, like what
And
they
the
call the
perverts.
sweet spot.
Perverts too.
And the perverse.
Yeah, I call them perverts because it's just disgusting to require that these families do NI with you. They'll literally, I'll get so upset about this, but they'll
No,
literally
get upset.
They will
talk about it.
They will literally say, "I'll do NI for free,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll do 1,000, 2,000 for AI, for artificial." But they'll do NI for free multiple times. And these women just get put in such a box that they don't know what to do because maybe they love that donor. They think he's Caucasian, he's black,
Not
he's
love,
Mexican.
like the attributes.
They have attributes in their head, and they find somebody that matches their attributes. And when they find out that he only wants to do it one way, they'll do it that way to try to conceive and to try to have a baby. And it's frustrating to me and my inner and how I am as a person, because I know there's other ways that they can do it, not doing it that way, especially the ones that truly, don't want to, or maybe never. I've met families that have never done natural with a man, and then
Wait. Pause,
and then they want to
pause.
have kids,
Pause for a second.
and they do natural.
Pause for a second.
this sense.
Let's reverse. Let's reverse on that. You've met families. That's a very good note that you just added, because I didn't think to ask that question. You've met families, so woman that essentially has never been with a man, and I would assume that they're in their 20s or 30s, right? Late 20s, never been with a man, and now they want to have a child. Isn't there?
And they want to do it the artificial way, but maybe they meet a donor that they're sold on. That this is my donor. He only wants to do AI. Okay, let's do AI. I met a woman recently this year that she was doing it by herself, and I think that's not part of the reason it happened, but
When you said she was doing it by herself, that means she had no
spouse.
No spouse.
It was just her, and she was a masculine woman, and she told me about her last experience where she tried it with a man. First time she's ever been with a man, and it didn't work. It was a negative.
How old was she?
27 to 32. And she did it with a man, and it was her first time ever experiencing intercourse with a man.
And was it a terrible experience for her?
Yes, it was terrible. And it didn't result in a success. So she ended up doing artificial with me anyways.
And did it become successful with you?
It did not. No, it did not.
Then
no.
I mean, there's a problem with her.
Yeah. Problem with her, it also doesn't hit, on that one time. I don't know. Problem with her, problem with life, who knows? I mean, it doesn't always happen on the first time. Sometimes I think it can take a couple times. But also what women have to think about is the stress level, right? I'm sure when she was doing NI, her stress level was on 1,000.
I'm wondering how painful, not sexually painful it was, but
emotionally
painful it was for her.
I tell all the families, you have to be when you're doing insemination artificially with me, just relax. Like usually there's 2 of them. If one of the women is getting the sperm, she needs to just relax. Let your wife, your significant other, do all the work. You just relax and think about the future. Think about the future. Think about good things. Don't be stressed. Don't because let's be real. When women are naturally having sex with a man, hopefully they're not stressed.
No, right.
I mean,
right. If they're not being being essayed, right,
Yes.
then they're not stressed,
Yeah.
and then everything happens easier how nature intended it to happen.
Yep.
But when they're stressed, all of the hormones get heightened, and it causes stress on the whole body, and then the woman may or may not get pregnant, and God forbid that a woman is having sex, intercourse with a man, and then it's in one of those situation, assault, and she gets pregnant, and that's a whole different elephant in the room to deal with, man. Wow. Yeah, I commend what you're doing. Actually, I commend what you're doing. I did ask you when we were having a chat prior to being here, how do you feel about just doing it for same-sex couples, and you were like, I don't care, you're doing a service, and you're doing a good service, and I appreciate that you're this open with it, this candid with it, and there's some information that I think people would definitely want to hear.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal. I think if you were to look up Black Sperm Donor on YouTube right now, nothing would probably come up, or very limited. So
Hey, do me a favor, pull up Black Sperm Donor, share it on the screen. Let's see what it.
yeah, and what's the first thing you see?
The sperm bank.
No, but what does it say? The first title.
Oh,
Shortage. Shortage.
Shortage of black sperm donors
Yep.
across U.S. impacts family planning. Wow.
Yep, and that's what I was telling you from the start, that there's not enough, because not enough of them know about it, or not enough of them, are comfortable doing it. So I'm just trying to change it.
So is that why when you see certain families, because I've seen certain families where both parents are brown skin, but their child doesn't look the child look mixed, and I'm like, how are they married and the child look mixed? I'm wondering, did the wife cheat? And sometimes that's the case, and sometimes it's not the case. And now this actually put a different perspective in my thoughts. Like,
Yeah, there's different ways.
yeah, it could be just that they couldn't find a sperm donor that suit
Yep.
the criteria that they're looking for, but this Caucasian sperm donor fits the criteria what they're looking
Yeah,
for.
I've never tried, obviously, but from what I hear, the sperm donors in the sperm banks that are black don't last. Like
When you say they don't last,
they go in and they come right out. So you donate sperm today, after they do all the testing and everything they need to do, and within 2 months, it's already gone.
Oh,
any
you mean
samples-
it doesn't last for any time? Someone picks it up right away.
Correct. Yeah, because there's a shortage.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
Wow. Well, Nick, I appreciate you, man.
yes, sir. Big up yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, respects, man. This is good having this conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be able to just talk and just keep going, just to just take as much information out of your head as possible. But
Yeah, we just got to do a part
Yeah.
2 in a couple months to see the progress.
yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate you. All right. So,
All right.
all right. Take it away, man.